the most and least hated Marvel Rivals heroes? And what better way to answer that question than doing a tier list? A tier list that ranks how hated every single Marvel Rivals hero is. This is the tier list. Obviously, S tier means most hated and D tier means least hated. Why don't we just start off strong with Black Panther? No one likes dive characters in Marvel Rivals anyway. If you play support like me, you probably hate dive characters even more. Regardless, Black Panther is probably one of the most annoying characters to go against in the entire game. You're basically forced to counter swap. He moves really fast and it's really hard to kill him. And it's 10 times more insufferable if you're playing support because you ask for help from your team, but they never turn around and they just let you get killed by him over and over and over again. And to be honest, I think Black Panther is super, super hated in the Marvel Rivals community. So for that, I'm putting him at S tier. Now let's go with the complete opposite. Mantis. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that Mantis is their most hated character. The only valid thing about hating Mantis is her sleep. But then at the same time, that's really not that big of a deal. You might have died like 1 or 2 times from a Mantis sleep. Even then, there are so many more abilities that are much more annoying than Mantis sleep. So for that, I'm gonna put her at D tier because I feel like she's genuinely not hated at all. Now let's go with our first tank, Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. I see a lot of people say that they hate Captain America. Tanks play such a huge role in the game, and if there's a good Captain America on the other team that your team is not countering, you're basically just cooked. But this also plays into the fact that everyone hates dive characters in Marvel Rivals, and Captain America is obviously a dive tank. Not only does he have his shield that basically makes him unkillable, but when he has his ultimate, you literally can't kill him. He just stalls the whole time, and especially if you're on overtime on cart, that could make a huge difference. I mean, he just stalls the whole time. That's easily something that you could lose the game over. I do think he's pretty hated, and I see him getting banned much more in the higher ranks, but at the same time, he's definitely not the most hated out of the tanks, and I don't think he's the most hated overall, so I'm gonna put him at A. Now let's go for someone who's a little bit confusing to rank, and that is Loki. And you might be like, why is Loki confusing to rank? I hate him, or I love him. Well, great question. The people that really hate Loki are dive characters because they can't kill him right away. And in my head, I'm like, I don't really have a lot of remorse for dive characters. Screw you, Spider-Man. But it is annoying when they're running triple support and they have a Loki, so that means they have 2 Invisible Woman ults, 2 Cloak and Dagger ults, 2 Luna ults. Like, that is so annoying. Having 3 support ults is a huge advantage anyway, but when he copies a really good ult like Invisible Woman or Luna, it just makes the game so much harder. So I could understand why people don't like him. But at the same time, I don't think a lot of people hate him. I see him get banned occasionally on certain maps, but that doesn't mean that someone is super hated. So I'm gonna put him at B tier. While we're on the topic of a support hero with an annoying ult but not so annoying abilities, Adam Warlock comes to mind. I mean, his ultimate is super annoying because he just reses everyone, and if you don't have any ults because you just used them the fight before, that fight is just a loss because sometimes you do need to ult dump to win, but then he just brings them all back. Then you inevitably just lose the next fight. Adam Warlock's Soulbond is also pretty strong, but I don't think it's that crazy. Also, I don't really see a lot of people playing him in higher ranks. I don't even see a lot of people playing him in general, and with less people playing him, less people are likely to hate him. I definitely think he's more hated than Mantis, but definitely less hated than Loki, so I'm gonna put him at C tier. Now on to another tank that used to be super hated, and that is Venom. Venom used to be super hated, especially when I first started playing this game, but now I feel like he's not as hated as he used to be. More people hate some other person that kind of resembles Venom. He does jump in the backline, but I don't really feel like he does that much damage. As a support player, he's one of the tanks that's the least annoying for me. I'd much rather prefer him over a Captain America or a Thing, but obviously everyone has different opinions. I don't even feel like his ultimate is that strong unless you have a Luna ult. I know there's still a good amount of people that hate Venom, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think he's that hated anymore, especially because there are so many other characters that are much more hated. So for that, I'm gonna put him at B tier. Now, after talking about a dive character, let's talk about a dive counter. And I already said that dives are so hated in this game, but also the counter to those dives are also hated. So let's talk about Namor. You'd think the counter to these dives would not be hated, but that could not be further from the truth because Namor actually works as a dive himself. His kit is extremely aggravating for everyone. His squids just sit in a corner and squirt all over you. They take a good amount of hits to break, at least as a support player. No one ever breaks them. He does so much damage from so far away. His ultimate is just so stupid. He can get away because he flies up and just gets healed. I mean, his entire kit is just so annoying, and I know a lot of people hate him. Almost every single game I play in GM1 Celestial, he gets banned for good reason. I'm not even mad that he gets banned because I also happen to hate that character. Of course, we gotta put Namor at S tier. Come on now. Namor gets banned a lot, but let me introduce you to someone who gets banned, or at least should get banned, every single game. And of course, that is Wolverine. Everyone bans this guy for such good reason because he is absolutely broken. One of the most broken characters in the entire game. You know when there's a Wolverine on the other team, you're just gonna have a horrible game. He's so insufferable to play against. I love how everyone universally hates Wolverine, so we all just ban him every single game. If you're a Wolverine main, you better pick a new main because you probably never get to play him in ranked. And you guys already know, Wolverine Siegfried is going straight to S tier. Now that we're on the topic of someone who gets banned a lot, let's talk about Luna Snow. You would think because someone gets banned a lot, it means that everyone hates them, but Luna doesn't really get banned for her abilities. She gets banned for her team-ups. Her team-ups are insanely good. I mean, she makes Namor so good, it's not even funny. She also makes Jeff insane, so it's so valid to ban her. The only annoying thing about Luna is her freeze. Her ultimate is normal. It's kind of just like Invisible Woman, but my god, are her team-ups broken. So I don't think people actually hate her as a character. They more just hate her team-ups. So for that, I'm gonna put her at B tier because I don't think that really counts as hating someone. Now let's go with another tank, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is definitely one of the strongest and best tanks right now, and he's got a lot of annoying things about his kit. His shield has so much health. His ultimate is so strong. I mean, all of his abilities are just so strong. He's such a good tank, and I know a lot of people do not like him for this reason. He's definitely not the most hated tank, but he's definitely up there with how much people actually do hate him. And I think the two most hated things about him are his ultimate and also his shield. I'm not gonna put him at S tier, so I'm gonna put him at A tier. A lot of people definitely hate Strange. But now let's talk about someone that everyone hates, and that would be Squirrel Girl. If you don't hate Squirrel Girl, I think you're crazy. How could you possibly like to fight against someone that takes literally no skill? You will die in the most random ways because an acorn just hits you in the corner. And don't even get me started on her acorn trap, because 9 times out of 10, if I get stuck in that, I'm dead. No one ever shoots her ultimate. And I play support, so I could try to shoot it all I want, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. And before I know it, my whole team's dead because they can't even look around. You guys already know where Squirrel Girl is going. She is going straight to S tier. Now let's talk about someone else that has traps, but seems to be less hated than Squirrel Girl, and that would be Penny Parker. And don't get me wrong, I know Penny Parker can be super aggravating to fight against sometimes, but the higher I rank up, the less I see her. And I think it's just because she gets countered so easily, or not that many people are actually good at her. Maybe she's just not that strong, but she is never a problem in any of my games. Her net is super annoying. Her ultimate is also super annoying, but that's also mostly just for dive characters, and you can easily counter her with literally any other character. I don't really see anyone talk about hating Penny Parker. Maybe if you're in a lower rank you will, which is still valid, but I don't really see Penny Parker come up a lot when people are talking about who they hate in the game. So for that, I'm gonna put her at C tier. Next, let's go with someone who I'm surprised that people don't hate more, and that is Cloak and Dagger. Now you might be thinking in your head, I hate Cloak and Dagger, oh my god. Well, other people don't seem to. They might be really annoying with their ultimate, but I've never heard anyone say, oh my god, Cloak and Dagger, I hate them. This rank system isn't based off of how good a character is, and Cloak and Dagger is really, really good, but there are just so many other characters to hate in this game that I genuinely don't see anyone saying, oh my gosh, I hate Cloak and Dagger. And for that reason, I'm gonna put them at D tier because, you know, some people do have to go in D tier. There are not many people that are unhated in this game, so when they are unhated, I have to put them at D tier. So now let me give you a little bit of whiplash. We're going from unhated to someone who's pretty hated, and I'm talking about Hawkeye. No one likes one-shot characters in any game. It takes absolutely no skill, especially with how huge the hitbox is for his arrow. He's not even aiming at you and you just die. No one likes that at all, and I see so many people complain about it. It just makes the game so horrible to get one shot every 5 seconds. But Hawkeye is not the most hated, so for this reason, I'm gonna put him at A tier. He's pretty hated, but I don't think he's on the same level as these other S tier characters. This next one might be controversial, but we have Magik. Magik is another dive character, so of course there's a lot of people that hate her, but I've noticed a lot of people talk about how she's much easier to deal with than other dive characters. And as a support player, I agree with that. I would much rather a Magik than a Black Panther any day, but I don't think she's any less hated than A tier. But because she's less hated, I don't think she belongs in S tier. So I think it's safe to put her at A tier. Now let's go to our first tank, who I think is super, super hated. If you guessed Groot, you are absolutely correct. Everyone I know hates Groot. I've gotten a lot of opinions from a lot of different people, and everyone says they hate Groot. I've been seeing him get banned a lot more, and I think the reason for that is that his walls are so hard to break. You need a Punisher. If you don't have a Punisher, you're probably gonna lose that game. Also, his ultimate has basically no warning, and his ultimate combined with other ultimates is devastating. I know for me, I crash out when the Groot on the other team is good. So for that reason, I'm putting him at S tier. Let's talk about an anti-dive character that's surprisingly not hated as much, and I'm talking about The Thing. Here's the thing. Haha, I'm sorry. I think The Thing is really only hated by support players because I absolutely hate when he dives me, but he's really only a problem if your team doesn't look at him, because if they do, they're just gonna absolutely destroy him. So it's really only a problem if you're solo queuing, but I don't really see a lot of people saying, oh, I hate The Thing, but I definitely think that he's more hated than Penny. I do feel like he's on the same level as Venom. So for that reason, I'm gonna put him at B tier. Now let's talk about a tank that used to be super, super hated and always got banned, and now I don't see anyone talking about him or banning him. And if you thought thought the Hulk, you would be absolutely correct. Do you guys remember before last patch when every single person was banning the Hulk because of the Luna team up? Well, after he got nerfed, no one talks about him anymore. No one hates him. No one talks about his abilities. No one bans him. To be honest, he went from the most hated, probably S tier, all the way down to C tier. Now with this next person, I'm really hoping that they get nerfed the same exact way as Hulk did. Of course, I'm talking about Winter Soldier or Bucky. I mean, he just gets banned every single game, and he should, because his ultimate is so stupid. I've seen his ability pull someone through a wall. It needs to be fixed. I don't know a single person who doesn't hate Bucky, if I'm being honest. And you know, bro is going straight to S tier. On to another hero that is kind of difficult to rank, Magneto. He's difficult to rank because everyone plays a different role, and everyone's in a different rank, and everyone feels differently about every single character depending on what role they play. As for a support player, I don't like Magneto because he always ults me and I die 50% of the time. But I also think a lot of DPS mains don't like him either because he has a shield and a bubble, and he takes a lot of damage to kill. He's definitely more hated than Hulk. He's definitely more hated than Thing. So I think a safe place to put him is at A tier. Next up, we have another dive character. Again, everyone hates dive characters. We've got Iron Fist. I've noticed that everyone, no matter their role, hates Iron Fist. And that's so valid. He gets so much overshield, it's ridiculous. It's almost impossible to kill him. You already know Iron Fist is going straight to S tier. Now, to give you some more whiplash, let's go with Black Widow for the next one. There's very rarely a good Black Widow main, and even if there are so many different ways to counter her. It's almost not fair. I have never once been killed by a Black Widow ultimate ever in the entire time that I've played this game. And I think if you hate Black Widow, it's definitely targeted. Like, you definitely have some trauma, because I never hear anyone say they hate Black Widow. So for this reason, I'm putting her at D tier. And you can argue with the wall. If you hate Black Widow, that's crazy, because she's so easy to counter. Now, this next one might be very controversial. Storm. Storm by herself is very, very easy to deal with. Now, when she has the team up with Human Torch, that is when she becomes absolutely unbearable. I've also seen her get banned less and less and less in the last couple of weeks, and I think that's just because there's a lot of counters to flying characters. I mean, you have Namor, you have Hela, you have Punisher, even Star-Lord. I mean, there are just so many counters to these flying characters now. And if you hate Storm just because of her ult, I don't think that really makes sense, because almost every support ult counters hers. So all you have to do is go ult for ult. And sure, she might be annoying, and every flying character might be annoying, but in reality, they are probably the easiest to counter. And the dive characters are so much worse. When asking around, no one really said that they hated Storm. I don't know. I don't want to put everyone at B tier, especially when I feel like she really isn't that hated. It's just her ultimate. So she's gonna stay at C tier. And we might as well do Human Torch next. Human Torch is the same exact thing as Storm. I feel like a lot of people don't actually hate him, and I'm not gonna repeat everything I just said with Storm, but he's really only good with Storm. Now, if we were talking about pairing Storm and Human Torch together, oh yeah, that would be a completely different thing. That would definitely have to be S tier. But by themselves, C tier. There are so many other characters to hate. This next one is probably gonna surprise you, or maybe it won't. Rocket Raccoon. Now, heroes are hated for different reasons, but for some reason, when I was asking people who they hate, so many people said the Raccoon. I have no idea why. I think it has less to do with his abilities, maybe his infinite ammo, but more to do with he's annoying to kill, and he's always camping somewhere, or maybe they just hate him. I don't know. Seems kind of messed up to me. With all that being said, I don't think he's S tier material, so I'm gonna put him at A tier, because he's pretty up there with being hated. Next up, on to another tank, Thor. I feel like there's not a lot of really good Thor mains. Rarely do I see a Thor that's taking over the game, but when there is one, it's so insufferable. I don't see too many people complaining about Thor though, because his ultimate's actually kind of weak. I think he's more hated than Hulk, but less hated than Captain America, so I'm gonna put him at B tier. And this next one, I hope you guys agree with me on, and that is Mr. Fantastic. I personally think that Mr. Fantastic has to be one of the least hated heroes in this entire game, because he's really just not good at all. I've seen maybe one person who actually plays Mr. Fantastic who's pretty good at him, but overall, he might be the weakest hero in the entire game. And if you hate Mr. Fantastic, I think you're crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Because how could you hate someone that isn't even good at all? He's going at D tier, you already know. Now, as for his wife, I know a lot of people hate her. Her abilities are really, really good. She's gotta be one of the strongest supports in the entire game. Her push is on an 8-second cooldown, and I know so many people get annoyed by that. She's definitely way more hated than Adam, but I don't think she's any more hated than Loki. I think they're hated the same amount, so I'm also gonna put her at B tier. This next one is also a little bit confusing to rank, and that would be Punisher, because the infinite ammo that Rocket gives Punisher is insufferable to go against. But Punisher by himself is really not that much of a problem, and I just want to rate them based on their character alone and not the team-ups. I also know that a lot of people do hate Punisher, but without Rocket, they don't care about that at all. So I do think that they hate Rocket more than Punisher. So with that being said, I'm gonna put him at B tier as as well because it's just him by himself. This next character, pretty much everyone in lower ranks hates, and that is Moon Knight. If you don't know how to deal with him and your teammates aren't good, his abilities are going to be really, really difficult for you to deal with, especially with the amount of damage that he does, maybe not knowing how to avoid the ult, but he's really not that much of a problem at higher ranks. So for this reason, I'm going to put him at B tier. I'm trying to make this tier list unbiased and also have everyone feel included and make sure that everyone at every rank can relate to this. I don't know how possible that is, but I'm really trying here, guys. I think everyone can relate to this next one though, and that is Hela being super, super annoying. I see her getting banned so much more. She does so much damage from so far away. She counters pretty much everyone in the game. I really don't like her ultimate, if I'm being honest. And I know a lot of other people feel the same exact way as me, even if you're in a higher or lower rank. So for that reason, I'm putting Hela at A tier. I still don't think she's as hated as Bucky, but she's definitely up there. Now we're going back to the last flying character, and that is Iron Man. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions for Iron Man. Either you don't mind him or you absolutely hate him. And for that, I feel like I kind of just have to put him in the middle. The two most annoying things about Iron Man are his beam and his ultimate, but both can be easily countered, which is why I'm just gonna put him at B tier. We're gonna go back to another dive character, which is Psylocke. Now, Psylocke is super annoying, don't get me wrong, but she's just not the best dive character. Her ultimate is probably the most annoying thing about her, other than the fact that she could just go invisible at any time. But her ultimate can easily be countered, either with another ult or just by healing your teammate. It's honestly pretty weak compared to some of these other dive characters. I'm gonna put her at B tier because she's definitely less hated than Magik. Now, this next one I think should be more hated than he is, and that is Star-Lord. When I was asking people who they hate in Marvel Rivals, I was not seeing a lot of Star-Lord, but I've also heard a lot of people say that they hate Star-Lord, and I've seen a lot of TikTok videos about people saying they hate Star-Lord. He's way more hated than Black Widow, and he's way more hated than Human Torch, but I think he's less hated than Magik, so I think B tier is the way to go for this one, and I don't want to put too many people at B tier, but he just fits here. Now, you might have watched this entire video waiting for the one person that you hate the absolute most, and at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I put up a poll on my Instagram asking everyone what character in Marvel Rivals they hate the absolute most. Now, let me tell you, these three characters came up the most out of everyone else in the entire game. Scarlet Witch came up the third most, which is so valid because she literally takes no skill at all. She gets 2 get out of jail free cards. When someone says they main Scarlet Witch, I just have no respect for them. I don't see her getting banned a lot though. I just think we all mutually hate her, but it's not like she runs the games or anything. We all just hate her. S tier, obviously. In second place, we have Jeff, and this one is so funny to me because he's just a cute character, but we all know he's a menace. When there's a Jeff in my game, he really runs the game, especially if there's a Luna. Oh nah, GG's at that point. I mean, he swallows the whole team. He doesn't even spit us out anymore. He just jumps off with us. Nah, I'm done. Screw Jeff. Me and all my homies hate Jeff. S tier, obviously. And as for the most hated character in all of Marvel Rivals, Spider-Man. This should not surprise literally anyone. I already knew that Spider-Man was the most hated. He gets banned every single game. Every game I play, someone's crashing out if there's a Spider-Man. Even I crash out if there's a Spider-Man. I'm in the back line just getting absolutely cooked by him. No one wants to turn around and help. No one wants to switch to anti-dive. Most of the time, Namor is banned, so you can't even really do anything. Or Hela's missing all her shots. You know, when there's a Spider-Man on the other team, it's just insufferable. The only time I don't hate Spider-Man is if he's on our team, which actually isn't even true most of the time because the Spider-Man on my team always sucks. He's always 0-5 after the first round, and then everyone yells at him to get off a Spider-Man, and he never does. As you guys can see, I'm crashing out right now, and I hope all of you relate to how I feel about Spider-Man, and I know you do. So now with Spider-Man at S tier, I need to rearrange the entire tier list. The left side means the top of that tier, and the right side means the bottom of that tier. I could have done this earlier, but I wanted to wait until the end for a big reveal. All right, the reveal in 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone, this is the final tier list, and Spider-Man is the most hated hero in the entire game of Marvel Rivals. Let me know what you guys think of this final tier list and if you would change absolutely anything. I tried my best to take opinions from everyone. I got thousands of responses on my Instagram. There were so many different heroes that people hated. Like, someone did say Black Widow, but that was not a very popular answer. I couldn't just take what my followers said, so I would ask my teammates in game, I'd ask my friends, I would ask my chat on Twitch, and I think I did a pretty good job, not gonna lie. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know.